Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. I'm really excited for what we get to discover today. You've heard the word, I'm sure, conscious creation. This is a word that is talked about quite often in the world of like manifesting vision boards, things like that, to be consciously creating your life. And, like when you write your new beliefs, your affirmations, things like that, to consciously create what you want. But I am feeling like there's this next level of consciousness, and it's competence. And so today we're going to focus on competent creation. And super excited for what we get to discover today, because we're opening the portal of inspiration for a higher level of understanding where it comes to manifestation and creating with this word competent creation. So I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds, and we're going to do a private silent meditation, gratitude for competent creation, and just write down whatever comes to you, and then we'll share. Begin. All right. I think our next masterclass in January is going to be on, I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it, but like deliberately and competently creating serendipity, where you think something, you're in a space and something else comes in and it's like, wow, that was serendipitous. That was convenient. That was like an awesome coincidence. I think I know, I don't have all the details yet, but I think I know how to create that on a conscious basis, on a competently doing it on purpose. And I'm still learning. It's still a seed of an idea, but everything that keeps coming to me is like, yep. And I'm super excited for this, because somebody mentioned before we started recording about YouTube and like Facebook, how they can use their algorithms, or they can kind of, I think sometimes even with your phone, there's like a listening, it's like listening, because when you're having a conversation, then all of a sudden something will pop up in your ads, on your Facebook ads or or wherever, they are, or a YouTube video will pop up for you or something that has to do with what you're talking about. And I've had the thought, we mentioned this, I don't know, a few weeks ago on the gratitude call, that why not, it kind of helps us understand how God can do it. If Facebook can do it, if YouTube can do it, if, all the, whatever, these apparatuses can do it, then why not God? And, can create those coincidences for us where he brings certain people into our awareness, or other people, find us. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I had a really fun example last night. My husband and I were out doing some Christmas shopping, and I was planning on getting my daughter something else for her and her boyfriend, just like as a couple gift. And we were having a hard time finding it. And I said, what I really want to get her is a steam mop. And I had bought a steam mop for myself, and I couldn't find one anywhere in the store. So I had to order it online. And I was like, but you have to order that online. And my husband said, you mean like this one? And I was standing like 3 inches from a steam mop, and it was the exact steam mop that I had bought for myself. I'm like, yes, just like that one. Picked it up, put it in my cart, done. And it was like the easiest thing in the world. Seriously, like 3 inches. It was sitting in the middle of the aisle, and I was standing in the aisle, and it was like a little display in the corner of the aisle right at the end. And I was standing like 3 inches from it. Totally amazing. And I could call that like, wow, what an amazing coincidence. But I have to just really attribute it to this idea that I've been gestating, having this seed of an idea gestating, that we can competently create convenience in our life. And maybe that is the title of the masterclass. I'm going to write that down, because that's an iteration, or whatever you call that, where it's 3 C's: competently create convenience in your life. Okay, I'm writing that down. All right, awesome. Who else has something they'd like to share? Robert?
You bet. So I actually had to look it up. It's such a unique term, competent creation. And actually, there is an article, and I sent it already to the
cool
group, but it talked about that it's an assertion that the primary goal of professionalism is competent creation. This idea offers something intuitively satisfying if you're computing professional. If you're creating things competently, you're acting. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. So it's probably a comment that has a lot of depth to it, far beyond even what you've said and what I've commented on, and it's a very interesting comment. But
yes, thank you. It's really powerful. The primary goal of any profession is competent creation. And so whatever you're doing, whether it be you as a mom, whether you be you as an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you are creating, that your primary goal is competent creation. And it's a flywheel principle. If you read Good to Great, it's a book for leaders of companies. And there's a flywheel principle that all you have to do is just touch it every once in a while, and it just spins. It just works. The system is automatic. And I love that idea that that's our primary goal. Thank you.
Well, Mother used to say, you have a brain and a conscience, use it. And I just wonder how close conscience and competent.
I think it's very, very close. This seed of an idea that I've been gestating, your soul, that knowledge within of what's right, is very, very closely created or closely related to competently creating.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Betsy.
So I really love this. And the first, I really pay tribute to Deepti, because what she said was any skill can be learned by practice. Anything that you desire, anything that you want, really. And when you think of competent creation, it's not irrational. It's very practiced. You're well versed at it. Instead of a a slave to something or a victim to something, you're mastering it. You're a victor. You're really stepping up boldly in like the proven method. So instead of the mindset of things are happening to me, it's out of control, all these things, I can't do it. It's like, no, I make it happen. So it's a mindset and a heart set. And so as beautiful as the word serendipity is and romantic and oh, it's so wonderful that this happened. It's like, it's not really happenstance. I mean, it really is. There's a beauty and a power, and really the power behind intention. And so when I see competent creation, it's intention. And you can create good, you can create bad, you can create awkward. So what is the intention, and how do you purify that intention with inspiration? So yeah, some really cool thoughts there with some words.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And I just want to share just a new thought that I had as you were talking about serendipity and how romantic, I like the word that you used, how romantic that word is, to think that, oh, everything just kind of came together. How wonderful. And then this higher level of competently creating serendipity instead of just like waiting for it to happen, having that intention and just, and it is fun, you know, just to like see it come together and the joy that happens when it's like all, yes, here it is. But I'm just seeing like a higher level, because we're almost like a victim of circumstance when we just, when we're just like a bystander, spectator to, anyway, we could go off on a tangent, but we'll just stop there. Thank you. I'm just seeing this competent creation as a slightly higher level from serendipity. Thank you. Okay, we got lots of people unmuting. So we've got Colleen, and then Deep T, and Mary, Kathy, and Melinda. I've got you all written down. Go ahead, Colleen.
I tried to use my Bluetooth so I could turn it up a little bit more, and it won't hook up to the call. But I've been thinking about how you can't have creation if you don't have a problem, and if you don't open your mind to it, and even just opening your mouth to it, you know, and expressing, and how, you know, creations come together with more people, and, you know, just. And I know you've got a lot of thoughts about just being together with people and expressing, you know, any kind of frustrations you're having, like I did with my animals, that I get tired of chasing the rabbits around. And I you know, with me getting older, I'm sitting there, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I just want to garden. And even that's hard on my body sometimes, but I don't mind using my body to help be conscious in creation. I just don't want the animals to ruin it, you know?
And then your family helped you solve that problem on your birthday yesterday, right? They gave you a pen for your animals. So
I have looked at so many videos on how to build the pen. I already had a good idea of what I wanted. So when he asked me, I could show him, and he made it so that it has a little, almost like a, it was just exciting because it's almost like a hand cart, because you pull it up and the wheels go down. And then when you put it down, the wheels lower it down onto the ground so that I can put the animals up, move them, and then put them down. And
cool.
It is really cool.
Awesome. So there was some serendipity there, bringing everything together. First of all, you had the problem and you complained about the problem, and you were also looking at YouTube videos of how to solve the problem. And then everything kind of came together at once. So you were, whether you knew it or not, you were competently creating this serendipity that all came together for your birthday. And, you know, I don't remember who it was that said necessity is the mother of invention. And I think it was like Thomas Edison or somebody who was one of those inventors from way back when. And it is, you know, if there's a problem, then we start looking for an answer. And that's the beginning. Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Deep T, and then Mary.
I got a lot of thoughts, starting with competent. If you hear that word, people are like, okay, I have to master to become like a creator, because that competence is you have to be good at something to become like the best manifester. But I really want to, there's a big misinterpretation here, because people really forget that we are manifesting 24/7, and it's an innate value that each one of us have from the time we were born. It's a gift to each one of us. The only thing is not we have to become better at it. The only thing is that the other foot is at the brakes, and those brakes are your limiting beliefs that is keeping you away and far from what you are desiring. And
Thank you.
I also think that we sometimes, like you mentioned, like, okay, you were at the mall buying those things, and you just thought of it and you just got it. And a lot of people think, okay, she or he can manifest like instantly, and I try so hard and it just doesn't happen. So it's a shout out to all those people that I think it really is about it's not a race. Respect your pace is the message I want to give out to everybody out here. And I'm so grateful. I want to take this opportunity that, we have this knowledge now that we weren't, taught in school. And, if we didn't have this knowledge, we wouldn't be able to apply these practices in the right way.
I love that. I think the very first understanding, like you said, I love what you said, respect, the space that you're in, where you're at, as far as your understanding of manifesting. Everybody's in a different place, and it is a process. I mean, there are definitely some rules and understanding physical laws, things like that you need to learn about, before you can competently create. We're unconsciously, incompetently creating all the time, even if we don't know anything. And so you're right, Deepti, we all have that power to manifest within us, and based on the beliefs that we have and what we focus our intention on and things like that is going to, and the limiting beliefs that we allow into the space is going to decide what actually gets created. So we are creating at all times. And so this idea of competently doing that, choosing what you want to create and then competently doing it, that is definitely a process and a learning that if you choose to, there are more lessons to learn and to get to a point where you can just competently, easily, naturally create what you want.
Because for each one of us, because we are on our own spiritual path, and God will never show us or make us hear things that we are not ready to hear.
Right.
So when you are ready, you will get at that next step. So you have to first be ready before going on that full speed or comparing yourself to others.
Beautiful. And yes, let me reiterate that, how important that is to know that God's timing is perfect. He is not going to bless you with something that you are going to totally mess up. So he will give you the little steps to get to the point where then you can be trusted with this higher knowledge. So it's all part of the process, and it's all beautiful. Wherever you're at is perfect, and you're working hand in hand with God, and he's going to give you everything as you're ready for it. Thank you.
And in case you feel lost anywhere during the journey, like you have the dark night of the soul where you are like really a mismatch and everything seems so lost. I think the only thing you need to ask yourself is, what is the next right thing?
Yes, exactly. Those inspired.
One step at a time. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Mary.
Absolutely. The study to create by study and also by faith is to have things come together from knowledge gained and given to me through study or by inspiration. And things come to us at the right time when we're able to see it. I mean, we could, like you could be standing there and not see it, but it's right there. But you won't see it unless it's you're conscious of you're seeing it, or Anyway, so just the competency, the creation is bringing something into existence. And I love the definition of competent that I'm aware of is having the ability, the knowledge or skill to do something successfully. So we have the ability and we gain the knowledge and develop the skill to do something successfully, to create. So we're competent in creating. I
Beautiful.
love that.
Yeah, thank you. So when we become competent in creation, that confidence comes with it. We are confident in our creation once we have those skills in place. I love that. Thank you. Kathy.
I am so grateful for this learning and understanding of the competent creation. What was really coming up for me, I'm sure we've all heard the four conscious, competent. So unconscious, incompetent, you don't even know what you don't know. You don't even know what's out there. And the conscious incompetent is when you begin to know that there's more out there that you don't know. So you're aware that you are incompetent and there's things that you need to learn. The one that baffles me is the unconscious competence. You don't know, you just got it. And I see so many successful people that they don't even know why they're successful. It just comes to them. And I've been so curious about that. And then the conscious competence, and what would you do if you knew that everything is for your greatest good? It's just really all about the manifesting and creating the life you want. And what I realized was that I haven't always asked for what I want, because there's been so many times in my mind that I haven't gotten what I wanted and what I asked for. And it's just so amazing to me that my husband just always seems to get what he wants. And part of that is because he wants so very little. He's living his dream, just exactly the way he planned it. And I'm like, but I want so much more, but I don't ask for what I want because it's not as easy as what he wants. And so it's just really that conscious competence, just in the knowing. And really, what would we do if we knew that all we have to do is ask?
Yeah. So many things that we could talk about that you were saying, like you were saying that your husband gets everything that he wants because he doesn't want very much. He's living the dream. That right there is the answer. It's to the point where I don't need anything. And when you're like, I want, that pushes everything away that we want, because it's like, I can't have it because I don't have it. And so we could go off on that too, but we're not going to. So yes, there's definitely some things that you can learn. There's still some lessons, and we know if we're not getting exactly what we want, then either we're asking for the wrong things. We've got some limiting beliefs about, you even said one in, I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't even ask for it because I don't know how to get it or something. I can't remember what it was that you said.
Because so often I've asked for things that I haven't gotten.
Okay.
And maybe it's my impatience too.
And there's a limiting belief, it's like, I can't have that. So there's something in there that is stopping you from, and maybe you're asking for the wrong thing. And God's like, oh, poor little Kathy, if she only would just ask for this, I would give it to her right away. So, there's something in there if you're not getting exactly what you want. And anyway, this competence, that's the goal. That primary goal of any profession is to know exactly what to ask for, have the faith, be in alignment, not really, it's like, I don't really need this, but this will be like awesome. And so all of those pieces coming together to have this, perfect serendipity happen. I want to address the word unconscious that as you were talking, because there's those levels of being unconscious about your competence. So you're just like, whatever, I don't even have an idea have a clue what's happening. And then you finally get competent. Oh, I can see why I'm not getting what I want now. And I can now see the problem and I can go about trying to fix it. And then I have to really consciously be aware of the rules and the laws and this, making my new beliefs just so, and asking for the inspired shortcuts and everything, and be conscious of it. But then you get to a point, and usually it's just this natural flow that you don't even realize you're there, where you're just creating. And it's not that you don't know how it's happening. That's not what it means by unconscious. It's like when you're driving a stick shift. If you know how to drive a stick shift, there's like 3 or 4 things you have to be doing or be aware of at the same time. And at first you're totally incompetent at it and you keep killing the car every time you try to go. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to be super conscious of this. And then eventually you can throw the baby a toy, and I've done this. You can be driving in heavy traffic and snow, even throw the baby a toy, driving a stick shift, and you're totally unconscious of the workings of the car and how your body just like you just naturally do those things. So it's not so much that you don't understand how it's happening. You do understand the process of it because you put so much effort into making it an unconscious. The unconscious part of it is it's just a natural, you just only act that way. You only do that when you're in that situation of wanting to create.
I wanted to add one thing to that.
Okay.
I think, the saying that your thoughts produce your feelings, your feelings produce your actions, which produce your results.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has a lot to do with our competence and our creation, because when we are aware of those things, but not just aware, like me understanding that principle and me applying that principle are 2 different things. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think being aware and applying those principles come into competent creation and conscious creation.
Being aware and then applying the principles is what takes us there. And before we started the call, a couple of people mentioned some things about like the process of creation. And I can go into a fabric store and find a piece of fabric that I'm just like fall in love with, and I can totally envision what it's going to be and everything. And there's so much joy and excitement just in buying the fabric. It's nothing, the fabric is nothing. It's not worth anything. It doesn't, I could maybe cover a table with it or something, but it's not, the thing yet. But there's like this excitement that comes when you're consciously competent in creating something, and you can envision it, and all you have to do is just give me some raw materials, and it's going to be a thing. Like, give me some raw materials and a few hours, and it's going to be something amazing. That is the kind of competence in creation that we should have in our whole lives. We have the availability. Deepti even said in the chat, says you could watch a YouTube video today, and if you watch the same YouTube video 3 weeks later, you wonder, how did I miss listening to that thing? I just saw that video recently, but the difference is 3 weeks earlier, you weren't ready to hear it, and now you are. Kathy, don't ask for a car directly, ask for a phone call from an old friend, or the cashier smiles at you each time he bills your grocery. Ask for small things to build confidence that this works. A lot of difference and discipline. Tyree, she's saying, confirming what Tyree says. And Betsy says, being awake, conscious and aware, then into action of creation. And Tyree says, yes, and our feelings in the whole situations have so much to do with our results. Yeah, that faith is a really big part of it, and believing and having those new beliefs that align with what it is that you're creating, Deepti, and knowing and applying. Yeah, this is all part of just having the awareness, first of all, like becoming conscious of the things that you need to apply, and then actually applying them. And we're going to mess up. We're not going to be competent in the very beginning as we start applying these principles. Tyree says that's why gratitude is so awesome. Yes, we have to be in gratitude in all things, and knowing that any little opportunity that we have to test our competency in any skill. Think about like learning to play the violin or something like that. You're not going to be perfect at the beginning. It's going to be a little screechy, but then eventually you learn what's causing those screeches, and you can change the way that you hold your hand. I'm not a violin player, but you can learn to hold your hand differently, or the way you've got it under your chin differently, or whatever, to make it come across, and even having an intention that you are going to reach the note. I know with singing, you have to like think a little bit higher even than you really want to hit the note so that you don't go flat on some of the high notes. And so there's certain things that you learn in the process of incompetently creating that help you to be even more competent in your creation. Okay, we are needing to shift over to our, let's see, we've got one more note in the chat here. Let me go ahead and read this from Deep Tea. It says, I have realized if you have a solid self-belief, yes, that's a huge, 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 huge piece. If you have a solid self-belief, things work faster. I love God. He wants us on top notch on our growth before giving us the reward. He always only wants the best for us. Yes, this is absolutely true. I have realized if you have a solid self-belief, things work faster. Oh, okay, she's just reiterating that. Yes, he always wants the best for us. So he is never going to give us anything that is beyond what we can handle. So if we're not receiving it, we can go to him. And that's what we'll do right now as we shift into our permission process is, what am I missing? What do I need to learn? What can I change within myself that will allow this to come in my life? And maybe it is I need to change my mind about what I want. So we have to be completely open to whatever he teaches us. So let's go ahead and shift into our permission process right now. Just go ahead and take a deep breath. And just allow yourself to get into that God space and to be able to go to God and ask him for some training, some divine tutoring right now. We have to totally shed any ego, any idea that we know better. We have to totally go to him naked and ready to receive, completely vulnerable, completely open, and knowing that he is always has our best interest at heart. Everything that he gives us is for our growth, for our betterment. And you can totally go there confident with nothing, with no idea of, God, this is what I want. How can I get it? Just let that go and go to him with just completely empty and ready to be filled up. And if there's something specific that you have been asking for, then we know there is some problem that needs to be fixed. Whether that is a relationship or if it is something in your home or in your life that is missing, something that you feel like would make your life so much more convenient or comfortable or better, whatever it is, go to him not with asking for the specific thing that you've been wanting or thinking that you needed, but go to him with the problem. And you can take your idea of what the solution might be, but also be open to any new divine tutoring that he has for you. So just go to him and just have your conversation with him right now. And remember, showing him the problem, giving him an idea of what you feel like might be a good solution, but also being open to new ideas that possibly you're more ready for right now, or that would be a better solution. I found that as I go to God and things get created, that I look back and I'm like, wow, this is so much better than I could have ever done it on my own. It's so much faster. It's so much easier. And that's what we're after, is these inspired shortcuts. So I invite you to go to him. And if you have any limiting beliefs coming up, just write those down, but set them aside. Go to him with nothing, no limiting beliefs, and no decisions, no absolute decisions about anything, because there might be some new ideas that he can give you. One more deep breath. And what is the one most important thing that you could do today to help begin solving this problem, or to completely solve the problem? What is the one most important thing that you could do today to take you at least one step closer to having this problem solved? And just listen for him to share with you what that one step is. And I know it's going to be something that you can do today. It'll be very simple. And then express gratitude for that one thing. Make sure that that one thing gets put at the top of your list as soon as this call is done today. And then go ahead and come back to the present with me and just take a moment and address those limiting beliefs. You know the process. If the limiting belief is not serving you, or it's not going to help you complete that inspired shortcut or to clear the path for that problem to be solved, then you get to give yourself permission to choose something different, a new belief, and you do that by saying yes.
Yes.
Awesome. And then go ahead and choose 2 or 3 new beliefs to take the place of that old limiting belief, something that will be in alignment with what you've learned as you went to God to get those new inspired shortcuts and inspired ideas. And so what new beliefs will serve you better? Bring those new beliefs into your body. Allow this to change you so that now as you go out through the day, you're going to see things differently. You're going to be more aware and more conscious. You'll be more competent in applying the principles of manifestation. These new beliefs are part of your identity now, so that as you go out today, you see the world more clearly. And we are at the end of our time, so we don't have time to share here on the call, but I would invite all of you to go to Breakthrough with Gratitude, the Facebook group, and share your thoughts there. I know that this is we are opening the door to something huge, and I would love to have your thoughts there because I want to learn from you. And especially as each one of you has gone to God and learned something new, I would really, really love to have you share this for the whole world to know. Any new ideas that you have about being more competent in your creation. And if anybody is needing some extra support in this, I would love to have you go to askwylene.com and schedule a 15-minute call with me. It's a free mentoring call, and I would love to help you gain more clarity on what it is that you're struggling with. Deep T says she's got a new belief. I welcome myself to whoever it is becoming, whoever I am becoming. Thank you. Love that. All right. Well, love you guys. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. We will still be here tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We won't be here on Christmas morning, but we will be here on Christmas Eve and the day after. So we'll look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thank you. Love you guys.
Thank you. Love you too. Thank you. Love you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.